You are watching CIO TV by Enterprise IT World, a production of Accent Infomedia.
Hello and welcome to Enterprise IT World Mia on CIOTV.live. As you know that we have been speaking to the thought leaders, CXOs on different topics around technology, around deep tech as well, and which technology is in hype cycle, which technology is about to fizzle out. Today we have Mr. Abhi Dahiya. He is CEO of Twine. As the name suggests, it is a digital twin company, a startup, but having created its own base in different segments, including manufacturing, oil and gas, roads and infrastructure. So let us understand from him what is his future strategy and what he wants to achieve in maybe next 5 to 7 years time. Abhi, thank you very much for taking time out and speaking to Enterprise IT World, Mia and CIOTV.live.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me here.
If you tell me about Twine or digital twine for that matter, how do you see this technology? This technology obviously is in hype cycle at this part of time.
I think digital twins are just starting to come up. The technology has been around for some time, but now people are starting to recognize this importance. But I would say it's nowhere near the hype cycle. In next 1 to 2 years is when this is going to really shine. Because there are practical ROIs to be driven out of the technology and the way that we have been interacting with our systems. From rectangular pieces of paper, we have just moved to rectangular screens. But the world is very different. The world will be phygital. And we need a new way of interacting with this phygital world of future. So it still hasn't seen the fair share of potential that digital twins do have.
Excellent. If you can start with Twine as a company, obviously it is a startup. If you can tell me about your journey, how you started, what is that you want to achieve, what is the timeline that you have kept in your hand?
Sure. So, we are a deep tech startup. So, the timelines would work a little differently for us compared to a non-deep tech startup. So, of course, the gestation period is much more. We started this company back in 2018, and it took us good 4.5 to 5 years to actually, build the product in a robust manner and to take it to the market. And it's an enterprise-grade product for that matter. Now from India, of course, it originated there. But now from there, we have expanded to different geographies. Recently, we have opened our first European office with the head of Europe in there. We have in this region. We are based out of Dubai, and we are also opening up a new office in Saudi along with TCS. So now we are expanding to a global scale.
The startups at this point of time are facing a lot of challenges from the funding point of view and from the visibility point of view. Even the media organizations are not giving the due share that the startups deserve.
Yeah.
Today's startup are tomorrow's large organizations. So what is the state now for as far as startups are concerned?
So I do understand that there are challenges that startups are facing right now, but if you see the startup or VC industry in India is very nascent. It's just been 10 years compared to we always compare it to US, Europe, where it is more mature. So they have seen their fair 30-40 years, and they have seen their success stories as well. So there are Googles and Nvidias and Amazons of the world who have been success stories where once they were a startup and now they are, the big tech giants. So India has to see those kind of success stories as well. And I'm sure, things will fall into place once those success stories are there. Of course, the problem even exemplifies further with deep tech startups. Where you cannot expect the revenue. It's always good to talk about revenue or road to profitability. But with deep tech startups, there is a lot more R&D to be in place, and of course, a lot more rewards to be reaped. So the risk to reward ratio is much higher. But yeah, I think that is what we are here to change. Thankfully, what people call as funding winter, we have seen tremendous support for the company. I mean, just I think last year itself, we raised around $1.25 million. This year, almost 1 million we have raised. So I don't see it as a challenge for the right startups if you're meeting the right people, and I think there's a tremendous opportunity. And you should also look at startups as an asset class apart from the stock market, where the risk to reward ratio is higher. So if you can park your 5% of money or 10% money out there, the rewards can be much higher. And I'm sure that retail investors are also seeing that particular potential, and a lot more things are coming up, like platforms for retail investors to invest in startups as well generally.
Excellent, Avi. Let's change this topic to the technology, deep tech, and digital twin. Digital twin these days are used in every space, not only manufacturing but services space as well, so that you can understand the digital version of the work process, where there is some problem, you can point out and fix it without taking much of time, on the fly. So far, what has happened for you? What are the use cases that you have created?
So right now, when we are talking about managing assets where the asset value at risk is much higher, or it is a critical infrastructure from national security perspective or from a general security perspective, the monitoring happens with the hundreds of dashboards. So you have your ERP systems, you have your SCADA systems, you have your cameras in place, you have your colleagues giving you Excel sheets, you have HMIs on the machine giving you different parameters. It's not humanly possible to relate these dissociated streams of data together as one and do decision making. So the butterfly effect of somebody taking a bathroom break at a time and a medicine being produced where it has side effects, that butterfly effect, right now there is no way to analyze that and do decision making. And the problem that the world is facing right now, as per the big fours, sensors 5 years ago versus sensors that are now are much higher. There are billions of sensors being in place, and to make sense of the data, we need something more than these dashboards that are out there. And 95% of data that we collect is called dark data. It cannot be used for decision making, and that's the exactly problem that digital twins are solving. To humanly compare this thing, we used to have cars that had sensors at the back, which would tell you that something is behind. Then they were replaced by the cameras, where you could actually have a view of what is there behind. Then 360-degree cameras, which you can compare to digital twins, which will give you a holistic view and a lot more confidence to drive that vehicle. And on top of that, now there are ADAS-based systems that can also have certain autonomy from that.
Right.
And that's where we are playing. So we are doing digital twins with large language models. So you can drive the manufacturing or smart city vehicle much more efficiently.
18, you started into 2018. Now it is 2024. Obviously, we are we have got another 1 month hardly to complete this financial year. You will be entering into the next 24-25 financial year. So far, how many customers have embraced your technology?
So the technology has been publicly out for just 7 to 8 months now, and with this we have seen a record number of customers in terms of quality of the customers as well. So some of the customers that we have served are HP, Suzuki, your Panasonic,
Okay.
Samsung as a customer we have showcased, and here we have also started doing international POCs for multiple large oil and gas companies as well.
Okay, excellent. And at the back end, how have you created a bundle of the technologies? Because it takes a lot of things to make it a real fail-proof solution. There is always a chance of hacking. I mean, it's a paradise actually now for the hackers.
So, I mean, in terms of coding practices, lean coding practices, in terms of having the right data governance practices, in terms of having the cybersecurity norms and practices in place, so we have really done a lot. And I think, so our CIO is an ex-Oracle Cloud board member. He is a MIT Enterprise digital leader. And he is the one who's spearheading this particular part. And we are, in terms of even coding, let's say we are using Rust-based solutions, which is, I mean, very few coders can code very well in Rust compared to something like JS and all. And when you are dealing with multiple streams of data, it is a much better platform. We're also partnering up with cloud-based solution providers and embracing their cybersecurity practices, people like Microsoft, people like CFX Cloud. to, and we are really very serious about the cybersecurity systems in place. So far, we have not seen any kind of breaches in any solutions that we have deployed, but we are actively working.
What is your goal now for next 5 years?
So far, we have created the base technology. Now we are looking for the right kind of partners in place to really scale the technology further. So recently we have signed up association with TCS to take our solutions forward. We are also looking forward to partner up with other leading consulting players like Accenture, like Deloitte, like PA Consulting, to take these solutions and scale further. We're looking for channel partners in the region, and we have got some overwhelming response for the same. The exposure to technology that people have in this region is like none other. It is very unique. So we're getting a very overwhelming response, and the goal for the future is to grow this business with the right kind of partners in place, create value for the region, create value for all the stakeholders and investors as well.
All right, thank you very much, Abhi, for taking time out and speaking to Enterprise IT World, MIA and CIOTV.live.
Thank you so much for having me here. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.